Hello, listeners, and welcome to the World of Dragons. I am your host, Diletan. With me in a plastic bubble is Bantam, and locked away in a super dungeon after insulting Logitech keyboards is Ray. Say hi, guys.
Such the weirdest thing to be, in prison for.
Logitech is great. I have used them since I was a child, and I will never stop using them. It's a crime.
What's happening?
What's happening is I took over.
No, first Bantam edits the last episode, and now Diletan's doing the intro. My power is slipping. My influence wanes.
I am doing better, all things considered. I have been on death's door for the past 3 days. And, so I'm in a bubble for your protection because I have the dragon flu.
You have the half-bug variant, though, so we're fine.
But it's especially deadly to humans, so...
Maybe? I don't know.
I would think so.
That sounds like a black dragon that wanted to, release a plague upon a populace and, cast a spell wrong, so it's stuck in him, so he's sick, but it'll still affect the populace if they get too close.
Yep.
Made yourself a carrier.
Yep.
Well, the three of us, we discover, discuss, and dissect all types of media pertaining dragons. And today,
those aren't the words.
We're going to say it anyway, because it's actually appropriate for the thing we're reviewing today, an anime on Netflix called Drifting Dragons.
Yes, we will just discover, butcher, and then cook.
Oh, God.
So this show is oddly pro-whaling in a way.
Okay, so I must be the stupidest person in the world because I only got that connection halfway through, episode 6.
I got that on episode 1.
Episode 6, I'm like, this feels like whaling.
Hey, Ray, don't worry.
Is that why they call themselves drakers? Because they're not whalers, they're drakers. It's oh my god. It clicked and I was like, oh shit.
I'm dumber than you because I only just now put that together now that you said it.
Yeah, okay. They fly around on these massive Zeppelin airship things and hunt dragons in the sky with harpoons, spear them, bring them in, and then basically spend the rest of the episode bragging about how great, how much use their body has from the meat, the oil. The dragons literally make ambergris. They bring that up in an episode. So this is basically sky whaling.
Yep.
Okay, so one thing about this anime that I want to point out, it is a cooking anime disguised as literally it's a cooking anime with a fucking bad costume on.
It's Monster Hunter meets Food Wars.
Yeah,
they're trying to give Studio Ghibli a run for their money.
No, Food Wars, because Food Wars was a comedy anime where people would eat stuff and then their clothes would fly off and they'd be like, "Oh my god!"
He says Studio Ghibli because they're famous for having food that looks delicious, deliciously animated. In which case, kind of. Food Wars was good. I enjoyed Food Wars. I unironically loved the Food Wars anime.
The thing is that I watched bits and pieces of the Food Wars anime, and that is funny because it's a comedy, food-based. It's literally in the title, food, But you watch this thing about Drifting Dragons, there was almost no lore, and it was just we're all three of us are gonna tear this fucking show apart.
Initial impressions. What did you think of the show?
It's fucking trash, and the fact that something like this got on Netflix and other things got canceled, I feel really bad for the things that got canceled because this anime is fucking trash.
I guess I'm gonna be playing devil's advocate most of this episode then, huh?
Oh yeah, have fun with that.
Okay. Diletan also hated it seems.
Oh no, it was terrible.
It really was.
It had a lot of so as far as technical problems. First of all, so I always listen to things with subtitles because sometimes I don't quite catch what a character said. And in this one, the English sub and the English dub did not match at all. There was one, I actually wrote it down. It says, "I know she's still out there," and that was the actual dub. But then the subtitle says she hasn't eaten that yet, and it's like, what?
So I don't speak Japanese, so I can't listen to a sub and then listen to a dub and whatever. But I think what happened there is that those subs were like the original subs, like this is 1-to-1 what the Japanese means in English. But then when they dubbed it, they changed around the dialogue a bit for it to make more sense to us, for it to flow better with the animations and whatever, and they just didn't bother changing the words to reflect that.
I guess that's true. Whereas, like, if a mouth movement lasts X amount of seconds for this Japanese dialogue, they have to kind of. But it's like, I don't know, change the subtitles then.
Yeah, that's the thing. They didn't change the subtitles. That's the problem.
Yeah.
No, I'm pretty sure the context for those subs doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
There was one where a character said, "That's horrifying," but the subtitle said, "That's horrifying," and the voice said, "Wow, that's amazing." And it's like, okay. It really does change the context of a lot of scenes.
A little bit. Again, I don't speak Japanese, and devil's advocate, I think maybe that's horrifying depending on how you inflect it in Japanese. Like the voice might change if it's a good or bad thing. Like I can think of a couple examples in English where you'd be like, "Oh my god, that's terrible," but you're like laughing your ass off.
Yeah. And yeah, the only other thing I gotta say about it was that, and this is a personal choice. I mean, I feel free to disagree. This is not. As with 95% of all the anime I've ever seen, the opening song is great. The closing song is cringy as shit.
I actually don't know the opening and ending songs. I kept skipping them.
I mean, I with any TV show I ever watch, or anime specifically, I always watch the first episode from beginning to end. So that includes the intro and outro. And the outro in this one is like some weird, creepy love song with like characters like Fortnite dancing.
Okay, so I did listen to the intro once at the very beginning, and then I just started skipping it from that point on. I don't think I ever heard the outro because Netflix automatically plays the next episode after like 5 seconds of it.
Yeah, and you have to manually stop
I
that.
didn't manually stop it, so I've never heard the outro.
It's fucking terrible.
Well, good on me then.
All right, but before we dive too deep into this anime, let's go over our new 5-point system that I just came up with.
Like in the last 10 seconds came up with? Or like...
No, I came up with it last night.
Okay, so not
I thought this is going to be a good standard for us when we're doing like actual visual media for like books or for like movies and TV shows.
You hand me your paperwork for the new standard. I'll put my glasses on and I'll peruse over and be like, yeah, I don't know. Let me see.
You're in a dungeon. You can't do shit.
The dungeon is like one of those.
You're the super dungeon.
Those like connecting dog pens, like around me in a circle. I could just step over and like whatever, and build a little fence around it.
No, you're all the way in the basement. You're talking to us through a tin can with a piece of string.
No.
Yeah. All right. First thing, dragon style, the way they are designed. What do you guys think? If you could actually call these flying things in the sky dragons.
They are dragons in the barest sense of the word. In the sense that you could almost call any fantasy race that doesn't exist for real a dragon. Just like it's like I say this a lot of times. You take a wolf, you give it horns, and put a little bit of scales on its snout. You could technically call that a dragon. Very, very barest sense of the word. They are literally just flying whales. Very few even had a dragon shape. There was some that were literally just like jellyfish.
No, that was the whole point of like the third arc. I want to call it that in quotations. And one of them was just a floating sperm cell.
That was the baby jellyfish.
That was so stupid.
First of all, it looked like a giant...
designs were interesting but terrible.
It looked like a giant sperm.
The design was the artist was trying really, really hard to be like, this is a really cool looking dragon. Right? The only one that I actually liked how it looked, I think, was the one that redacted in the spoiler.
Oh, the big one that warred in the city.
The glittering dragon?
I mean, I feel like it's spoiler, so I can't like talk about it, but it definitely happens exactly halfway through the series.
Okay, that one.
That's the glittering dragon, so...
I don't know what they're called.
Well, yeah, I paid
No, that wasn't the glittering dragon. That was a different dragon.
The one that's going to take 3 years.
The one that's going to take... What?
The one that has a heat ray.
Yes.
Oh.
Just trying to be vague.
Alright, you can cut all that.
Maybe. I think we were vague enough.
So, as with most anime, all the stereotypes are there. You know, you got it. There were so few. The thing was, the first 3 episodes I actually really enjoyed, like getting to know the characters. And then for the remaining 9 episodes, I hated every single one of their fucking guts. I don't like any of them. They're all terrible people.
I liked 2 of the characters. Two of the main characters. There was some supporting cast that I really, really, really liked.
Yeah, I'm specifically talking. I actually wrote down that I like Faye, and Faye is the blonde Brock-looking guy.
Oh, the one that has like no emotion whatsoever.
He can't open his eyes all the way, but he literally looks like.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the girl for some reason.
No.
Okay.
Well, she was all right because she wasn't bad, but she also had no personality. So
yeah, she had like I said, she had no emotions at all.
I think they were trying to go for like the whole crew was a character, but then it really flopped.
The thing about this is, shit, I don't know what the genre is called, but like it was mentioned in my like research on like how to write whatever. This is a show that its main draw is you have a cast of characters and you put them together in a thing. In this case, it's a ship. Sometimes it's a base. Sometimes it's an army formation. Whatever. You have a bunch of characters and you have them in a thing, and then you throw scenarios at them, and the whole show is just how do each of them react in response to all of these scenarios. Like, there isn't an actual plot. The world isn't ending. There is no big bad villain. Nothing is really changing. It's just how do these characters interact in this stuff, which seems to be what, honestly, I think what most of Star Trek is.
No, okay, no, hold on now. You're throwing some grease in the fire here, buddy. Star Trek actually does have unique characters. They have character building.
Yes, because it also went on for like 20 goddamn seasons, right? This is 12 episodes. Very little growth can happen.
Didn't even attempt any growth.
There was growth with 2 of the characters. Like, the 2 that I liked.
One character towards the end, I think, had like the only amount of growth.
I feel like Gerard had some growth, and the main chick, whatever her name was, Takida.
No, yeah, she definitely. That's who I was talking about.
I feel like Gerard did. He cut his hair.
Okay, so I do want to say something about the haircut that Gerard got. I fucking hated Gerard. I hated everything about him. I hated his personality. I hated the way he looked. Then he cut his hair, and I'm like, I like you better now.
Bantam just judging too much based off their looks.
Well, because I hate bowl cuts. It looks so stupid. He had like a stupid...
That was not a bowl cut.
Well, whatever you call it. Fucking circle on top and then just...
It was definitely a very boring haircut, but it's not a bowl cut.
Okay, well, yeah, I know. But I wrote down, not a single main character is redeemable except Vani. I especially hate Gerard. And then a few minutes later, I wrote, Gerard's new haircut makes me like him more.
It's so shallow.
Yeah, I am. Well, especially with anime. See, that's one of the problems. It's like with anime or visual media.
Yeah, but Gerard and Takeda were the only 2 I liked. Everyone else was like, blah.
All right, this is a good segue from our next point. Voice acting. What did you guys think of the English dub?
The voice acting itself was all right.
It did its service.
It wasn't extraordinary, but I don't think they had extraordinary scripts to work with, so they did their thing. They were good.
I will never fault the voice actors for playing characters that they, play. I thought they did a really good job. I mean, yeah, the voice actor for Mika, sexy as hell. So...
Mika is the one that I hate, right?
Mika is the he, arguably, I mean, Tika or whatever the fuck her name is, I'm
pretty sure the main girl is Takeda. I'm going to find a list of character names because
Takeda.
Fuck these names.
But Mika is the one who's like basically the dragon hunting Sephiroth, who's also distracted by and obsessed with food.
I have to go on like a 5-minute tangent on how I hate him.
No, we're going to do that after
the spoiler? Okay.
Diletan has an entire section dedicated to just piling him into a corner and beating the shit out of him.
And we still got to go with my 5 points. We're only on point 2. All right. So, voice acting does its service. Nothing really special. Now, animation style.
Oh, I really liked it.
It's beautiful as hell is what it is.
It's weird, because this animation style is one of the ones you say you don't like in other things. This was the 3D trying to look 2D animation style that Beastars is.
Yeah, no, I discussed this in the Dragon Prince episode. It has a cel-shaded quality to it, whereas Beastars did not. Beastars was dark, gritty, and heavily shaded. And the character models themselves were creepy, skinny, like stick figure looking dudes with animal heads stapled on. They were garbage. Dragon Prince and this show, beautiful, colorful, lovely. Not
Bright.
Not full of characters who were trying to kill each other with just their eyes.
All right, point 4, the music. All 3 tracks. What did you guys think of it?
I will
There was music?
Yeah, there was the intro and the outro.
There's the intro, the outro. There's one action track that plays for literally every single situation that happens, and then like one mundane track.
Okay.
It's 4.
If that's really all there was, then I like the music, because like the one time I noticed music playing, I was like, hey, I like this song. And if there's only one song, then there we go.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't notice any music, so I guess that's a good thing. I mean, like, music is good when you either don't remember it happening because it just fits so seamlessly in with the background, or when it's such a bop that you're, like, singing along or nodding your head or whatever.
Yeah. I think the mundane track I didn't like it's forgettable, but then the action track was like, yeah, I could rock out to this. I could use this in, like, D&D at some point.
It was a pretty good, like, pseudo-sea... I don't want to say sea shanty, but it was good ship themed. I don't.
You could just say sea shanty.
No, it's not a sea shanty though. It's good for nautical times.
Oh, actually,
if that makes sense.
you know what? No, there is one other song, and if this doesn't count, every single time, doesn't matter what context was going on around them. Every single time food is handed to another character, it plays like this gentle lo-fi music.
Oh, right. It's like, I remember it being like really plucky.
Yeah, so there's this one episode where there's 2 characters on the very top of the ship in a lightning storm, and they literally have to strap in because the wind is so bad. And they're like, oh god, be careful, oh, I can't see anything in this horrible storm where our ship's gonna get torn apart. And then one of the characters pulls out a little box with some dragon fat and crackers, and he goes, he hands a piece to Gerard, and it just cuts to this dun 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 dun, you know, like fucking plucky lo-fi shit. And I'm like,
I actually do not remember ever hearing anything like that.
It was silly as hell.
All right, last point: the world design. What did you guys think of, like, say, the airships, the towns, the actual world as a whole?
I felt like the designs were pretty well for the theme they were going for, but it's not an aesthetic that I personally like.
Oh, I fucking love shit like this. I hate what they're doing, but I love, like, steampunk in the air. Like, the actual concept of, like, fishing in the sky.
That wasn't quite steampunk. It was closer to Industrial Revolution, I think.
Yeah, there was nothing unrealistic about it.
Their engine was just a steam engine.
Yeah, it's Industrial Revolution.
Yeah, but it's on a blimp.
Yeah,
Blimps are very steampunk.
The steampunk aesthetic wasn't there. Like, there weren't excess gears and top hats and scopes.
The way you would turn the Kinzaza into steampunk would be to jacket the entire balloon in brass.
Yeah,
and cover
make it almost square. Like, you have to give it a frame that looks very square, so it's not so round.
Yep, and then cover it in unnecessary gears, colors.
A bunch of, like, the carriage in the bottom would have a bunch of gears on it that were turning, but God knows what they're turning.
Yep.
But they're just moving. And then the top and the back would need a whole bunch of exhaust pipes that was just venting steam all the time.
And it would also need, like, cannons, like literal cannons, like a pirate ship.
I mean, they could have had, like, lightning guns or something if you went to go for a slightly more magical steampunk.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, they were a dragon whaling ship, so they had to have harpoons.
Yeah.
Scathing review of steampunk.
One day we'll get a list of all the visual aesthetics: steampunk, dieselpunk, atompunk, etc., and we'll just review all of them. Like, hey, Bantam, what do you think of Victorian?
Garbage. 0 out of 10.
Now, what do you think of Cyberpunk?
20 out of 10.
What do you think of shit? What's the green version of Cyberpunk called?
Solarpunk.
Solarpunk. Yeah. What do you think of Solarpunk?
Solarpunk 20 out of 10 too.
Fuck yeah.
What about Cassette Punk?
Cassette Punk is
What?
alright.
I've never heard of that.
Cassette
It's
Punk
the
is heavily
Jetsons.
it's the Jetsons. It's heavily based in the 80s. It's using 80s tech to do futuristic things that we can't do.
Dilettante, have you ever seen the original Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory?
Yes, actually.
Not the one with Johnny Depp, the old one.
Yes.
The video room with where Mike TV gets shrunk down. That would also be Cassette Punk, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, also, there's Alien.
Alien.
And Alien Isolation.
That's not Cassette Punk at all.
Yeah, no, actually, it kind of would be.
I mean, I
absolutely would
haven't
be.
really seen Alien, so I really can't say.
All right,
Like-
Ray, get back over here. You're going down a different track.
No, the tracks diverge. Goodbye, friends. Choo-choo.
All right, so
Decent 5-point plan, Dilettante, but you forgot a couple of things.
Well, it's an experiment. What did I forget?
The writing style, like how good was the dialogue, how believable were the tropes, the events, whatever. Like if this was in book form, how good of a book would it have been? Take all the visuals out of it, just the writing.
That's your department.
This book, if this were a book, this anime was someone who wanted to make a food anime, and then was like, I need to come up with some contrived bullshit to get to the next food scene. I swear to God, the only time they every episode would have like 2 beautiful pictures of recipes or whatever, and
No, just me, anime nodding in the background. Just as you're talking, just the entire time.
But yeah, this show was the person who made it was just really wanting to make a food anime, but was probably really jealous and upset that Food Wars came out first. And so he's like, fine, mine will be a bunch of fucking whalers in the sky fighting dragons, but they're gonna turn it into amazing food.
Yeah, Comrade brings up a good point. You don't mix media. If it was supposed to be a book, it'd be a book.
Yes, I know that was me giving a really bad example of trying to explain what I wanted. When I say like, how did you think about the writing style? It's like it's mostly the writing and the plot. Like, was the dialogue
You mean the dialogue?
Good? Was the dialogue good or cringy? The story beats, were they believable or contrived? Stuff like that.
I mean, we're going to get with that. The spoiler section, we can actually talk about it in detail.
I know, but like, just for people who want a review without going to spoilers, like just a real brief, like the story was shit, but the dialogue was good. Something like that.
Ah, there you go. You did it. Good job.
Well, that was an example. That's not actually what I think. What I actually think is the dialogue was tame. It was forgettable because it didn't really try to do anything fancy. The characters were sticking to their tropes. It was fine, whatever. The story was almost non-existent. It was just a series of events.
Yeah, it really was.
There was it wasn't an episodic anime in the sense that episode 3 has nothing to do with episode 1, but it could have been really easily.
Like when you get to the end, you will notice absolutely nothing has changed.
Yes, exactly. They do make a lot of callbacks, and like there is definitely like a chain of events that happen, but it doesn't really affect the world or even the story at large. It's very like whatever. That's why I said like the main style of this show is just how do these characters react in these situations?
Yeah, it's more like a slice of life kind of thing.
Kinda. And that's actually one of the few things I appreciated about it. At first, I just like slice of life, first of all. But like, yeah, like this is basically a whaling show where you replace the whales with dragons. And for that, I could appreciate that. It actually got me curious enough to go on Wikipedia, look up whaling for a little bit. And I
did too.
Yeah, right? So it has a couple of strong points. If you actually like whaling, like all the history of whaling and you think it was a really cool time of our history or whatever, then first off, shame on you. But second, you'll probably love this. Whaling had its uses, but like all things, humans did it way too much, and it ended up doing way too much harm to the environment because humans can't just keep things under control when we can make money off of it.
Okay, so I want to bring up a point that I found that really upset me. So at one point they mention a piece of lore that immediately set me off. I had to pause the show because I was so angry.
Hold on, is it what I'm thinking you're thinking where they're talking about they didn't know about the anatomy?
No.
Oh.
So the accountant, I guess you could call him, on board the ship, said that one dragon that size can supply up to 7 towns.
Mm-hmm.
But yet,
I vaguely remember that line, yeah.
But yet, getting one dragon barely scrapes the surface of the cost of the ship. And so, if you can butcher a dragon and supply 7 whole fucking towns, but you can't cover your own expenses on your ship, then maybe you should stop fucking doing it, because it's not a viable business anymore.
No, it's a viable business when you're a part of the union.
They're not, though.
Yeah,
they're freelance.
The thing is that it's just like they established that this was always going to be a money sink, yet they kept doing it, and it's like
that's because this particular ragtag group of people they enjoyed the freedom and the adventure, and they're like, this is a good way to live, and so
it's not though.
to them it was.
Yeah, people want to live on the sea to just be out at sea. They want to be in the sky just to be in the sky. And for Micah, he wants to taste every dragon known to man.
It's fucking dumb.
And yeah, no, he is. All right, but I think it is a good time for us to move on to spoilers. Notes. This anime can be watched in practically 4 hours.
It's 12 episodes, and then they never made any more. The manga goes deeper, but the anime
they don't deserve any more.
Calm down.
One of my notes just says, quote, food animes are so fucking weird, unquote.
I still like food animes. Whatever. Before we do the break, Diddleton, you gotta do the stars and living.
The what?
What?
The stars and the living.
I don't know what the fuck that is.
I don't either.
Bantam, X out of 5 stars, and would you live here?
Oh.
Why'd you say that? It's like a weird ass code.
0 out of...
This is me going, nudge, nudge, Dilettante, while you're trying to drive, and I'm like, handing something to you, like, don't forget this.
This is 0 out of 5 for me, and no, I would not live here.
Fucking raise hieroglyphic notes.
I hand you a picture that's written in emoji, and you're like, what the fuck is this? It's just a picture of a star in a house.
It's a star, question mark, house, question mark.
That's exactly what I hand Dilettante.
All right, so for world only, it would actually be 4 out of 5, and yes. I'm assuming when we do this, we are actually taking the roles of the main characters. So I would be on an airship flying around the sky?
You take the role of whatever you want. If you want to be a dragon, or if you want to be a draker, whatever.
Well, not a dragon, because... my God, that's worse than the fucking sea with how brutal it is.
It's the sea, but in the sky.
No, listen, I would be a captain of my own draking ship. Just to live amongst the clouds and, like, fucking be air shantying around. It'd be great.
If I were forced into this world, I would be one of the pirates. And I would be just destroying draking ships.
You like Sky Pirates.
I did like the Sky Pirates. The Sky Pirates had really... one of my notes.
No, just like in general, you like all Sky Pirates.
Yeah.
You like the concept of Sky Pirates.
I really liked their outfits.
Yeah, but they got beat up by one dude.
Which is bullshit. He basically went ultra instinct anime. The 3 dudes with guns trained on him, and he's dodging
We'll talk
bullets.
about that later. No, I got some thoughts about that.
Oh, that's going to be in the Let's All Hate Mika section.
Yep.
Oh my God. So Ray, question mark house, question mark stars?
It's the stars first, you dumbass.
Oh my God, Dylan. Sorry, I was upside down.
Yeah, I mean, he did read that upside down. He said question mark first. That's right. Sorry, stupid jokes. Stars? So, like, the show itself is, like, 1 out of 5 stars. Like, it was a bad show. I did not enjoy the show. There were very few parts that made me go, hey, that's interesting. So I guess it has some merit. It's a really good background. Like, if you need something on the other monitor while you're playing a game, it's great for that. Living here, not quite. here's my trademark. I gotta give complicated answers. I wouldn't live here in its entirety, but the concept of draking, I like that concept, and I'm gonna like steal that and put it into other things because it's a good concept. But if the entire world is revolving around that, like it's just, oh, this is just 1800s Earth, but there's whales in the sky, then it's like, nah, it's not interesting enough for me to live here. I'm sorry.
Actually, yeah, literally every human industry in this world lives off of the drinking industry. Mm-hmm. Like, they don't do anything else but just hunt and butcher dragons.
As far as we can see, I would like to think that there are some really interesting ground creatures and stuff. We just didn't see them because they didn't have enough time to show them all.
Oh, there was a person hunting something other than dragons, like an actual ground hunter.
She actually specifically mentioned elk and boar, though.
So just mundane stuff.
Mundane stuff.
Well, it doesn't mean they exist, though.
I just feel like in a world where you're going to have a bunch of like really fancy and really completely unrealistic creatures living in the sky, that you're going to get some on the ground and underground too. So I'm pretty sure they're there. Like, who knows? Like, I'm not going to read the manga. I don't have enough interest for it, but who knows? Maybe there are ground drakers that will hunt like really big behemoth-looking dragons in the forest, and then there's other ones that go like sand sailing, and they hunt some that freaking like Delics off of Monster Hunter. Just whoosh, whoosh, whoosh,
I was gonna say the ground hunters are literally just the commission.
The Monster Hunter Commission.
It's literally, this takes place in the Monster Hunter world. It's just
okay,
these guys.
I heard that somewhere.
Would you like a Monster Hunter game where you play in the sky on a ship the whole time?
Yes. No, yeah, do it like Guns of Icarus style.
No.
Fighting monsters.
No, because here's why. Same thing as being in the water. It's like there's always the possibility of a one-hit death of you falling off your ship. Can't fall off your ship on land.
You can't fall off your ship if you have guardrails. Fucking follow OSHA. You'll be fine.
Like, even in Monster Hunter, when you were fighting Gen Moran, the giant sand dragon, and it's like, if you fell off your ship, because it was essentially a pirate ship on the sand, even if you fell off that, it would show you climbing back on with a rope, because you're just skating across the sand at that point.
Yeah.
But it's like that. There's an episode later on in the series where you can see the actual dangers of hunting in the air in an airship. Mm-hmm. You can fall to your fucking death.
That's because these guys don't follow any safety procedures. I don't think I've ever saw any guardrails. They don't have any like safety tethers.
That's because dilettante you can't safety tether when half of your killing routine involves going onto the dragon via zipline.
That's only one guy being an asshole.
Yeah, I think
there are several, because he's Leroy Jenkins in it. He's jumping the shark, but many other people go over there when they have to tie it down or whatever.
Well, then you click off the safety net and then you zip line.
I guess I was gonna make a joke that's like a little bit past now. Like, well, dilettante, the guardrail ship upgrade hurts your profits.
I was gonna say, yeah, they should just have fucking guardrails, but also against your point, Ray. Mika was the only one who ever ziplined over to a dragon. The only exception was what's her face, Vivian.
I don't know
who did it to save Mika.
To save Mika. No one else has ever ziplined over to a dragon, and every time he did it, they yelled at him. It was not standard procedure to do that. That was incredibly stupid.
Vani is her name.
Vani, yeah.
Yeah, granted, I this is just me, I guess, trying to be hopeful. Like, he can't be that bad. He can't be that unlikable. I can't hit him this much.
He's that unlikable.
So surely other people would do it too, because you have, like, the best way to kill these things is to close range spear stab, like in the base of the spine or something. He's just doing it way too soon when it's still like alive and thrashing or something.
He does that literally to make the dragons taste better.
Yeah, I know.
That's the only reason.
The thing is, if you're doing this for monetary reasons, then that's a valid reason to do it, and so eventually they would do it too. They don't want to have too much of the whatever stress hormone that makes meat taste bad is. I know that's a real thing. That's why modern day people kill cows like instantly with the nail gun or whatever.
It's not a nail gun, it's a pneumatic. It's just air.
Yeah.
Alright, so yeah, the only note I have about Mika is I said Mika's so fucking dumb as a character and a trope. He was a 2-note character. I'm the best at hunting drakes, and also I love food. To the point where yeah, like that there was an episode where, as I said, the pirates attacked, and
we're not in spoiler section.
Whatever. Hurry up! There's not much else to talk about.
I'm trying to get to it. We've been derailing. All right. You know what? End of pre-spoilers. Ba-boom. Play the music.
Yeah, you gotta.
Someone welcome it back.
Dilettante, you gotta sing the song first.
Nope. You never sing the song.
I do like half the time. I go like boo doo boo boo doo boo boo doo.
All right, good job.
No, you gotta do it. You're driving.
You already did it.
I showed you how to do it. Now do it.
No.
Come on.
Dilettante.
You want to drive?
Dilettante, come on.
But I've never heard the song.
It's whatever you
Just
want it
make
to be.
one up.
All right. Anyway, welcome back. We are now going to be talking about spoilers for this show.
The spoilers for the anime. We have no idea what goes on in the manga,
Yeah,
and we never will.
and we never will because if the whole point of anime and manga is to get you invested in the other half, this anime failed.
I love the anime. I'm gonna read the manga now. Which I'm actually like this close to doing for Beastars. It's just manga's expensive.
All right, let's start off strong. How about Mika, guys?
Oh, you want to go right into this?
I want to go right fucking into this.
Let me just mention one thing first. So we talked about
No,
this.
let's play rock paper scissors. So you get to go first.
All right. Wait. No, I go first because mine's gonna be really small.
We're supposed to do a visual gag and like how do we do rock paper scissors in a completely auditory medium.
I guess
I got rock. What'd you guys get?
I got paper. So anyway, I just wanted to mention one thing, and I think it's in the 3rd episode. I have this curse of latching onto cute things and going, "Oh my god, that's probably Ray." I was so sure,
But Bantam, I'm not cute. I'm big and fearsome.
Right, yeah.
That's why I'm in prison.
Yeah. So in the 3rd episode, there's this pink bird dragon thing. I don't know if it's a baby dragon or if it's like actually just, like a remora because they mention it's a parasite. But I thought it was really cute, and it's
actually pushes up glasses. Remoras aren't parasites.
whatever. Anyway, so I was like, oh, that's the Ray. Like, she's comically running around the ship with a giant net like Ape Escape, trying to fucking catch this stupid, like, pink thing. And I was like, oh, this is going to be the episode where she gets like a pet, like she's super friendly to baby dragons or some crap. And then it cuts to the captain turning around and everything just going dark as he screams. And the payoff for that takes a while. So you're just left to assume he's dead or something.
Yeah, I thought he died too.
But he gets bitten, and the bite is this really strange X-shaped wound on his arm. And they finally...
So I need to ask real fast because I got super confused halfway through the show. Does he ever recover from that? Does he ever come back to being captain?
Yeah.
Then what's with the whole acting captain bullshit?
I don't know. The thing is that in the beginning of the show, it's the dude with the black hair who's the captain of the ship, and the dude with the ginger hair is the acting captain, the one who smokes a lot. And then the acting captain is just captain for the rest of the fucking show.
Yeah, that was weird. Like, I felt like I missed something. I'm glad that I'm not the only one who's confused by that turn of events. Okay.
So this little pink dragon thing is loose on the ship. There's another flying ship, on the horizon, and they lost the dragon, and apparently it's worth billions. And it was a gift for the king or some shit. So tiny little bit of lore that there's kingdoms still. And so it's on the Kinzaza, which is the ship the main characters are on. And they finally corner it in this one room, and they manage to pin it down. And I'm like, okay, so this is where they're going to tame it or whatever. And nope, Mika just comes up and spears it in the fucking head. And then they go through a 5-minute description of how you butterfly it and cook it. And that it's just like...
Honestly, the best cooking segment of the whole show was that particular meal.
Yeah, it was.
Like, I felt like I could go buy a chicken and I could do that. Like, I'm going to go do that now.
Yeah. But it was like the curse where I see something cute and I'm like, that's Ray. And then it dies.
dead.
And I'm like, well, all right. And there's no payoff to, it's a little baby dragon worth 2 billion money, or whatever their currency is, and they just kill it and eat it, and the other ship is left scrambling looking for it. It's pretty funny. All right.
I like how we were going to talk about Mika, and then we go on this tangent about a baby dragon.
I told you I wanted to talk about the baby dragon because now it's over and I'm done.
It wasn't even that cute. You think that dragon was cute? I don't like that dragon. Like, it looked like a deformed seahorse. I hated it.
I liked it.
I thought it was ugly.
That's probably the only like proper looking dragon in this whole show.
No. There are other dragons that looked much better than that dragon. It's like, see if I can find a picture, post it to the people in the audience stand so they can agree. But I don't remember what that type of dragon was called. It wasn't Salamandra, was it?
Tree Cynics, the problem with the lore in this show is that barely any has been established. He says the acting captain thing is probably some lore that they haven't elaborated yet. They haven't elaborated on pretty much anything. Like there's one piece of dialogue that triggered the fuck out of me at like episode 7 or 8. It's when they kill the big one in town. Or they're going to, and it's like, there's so much we don't know about dragons and their anatomy. I'm like, bitch, you have been dissecting and butchering them for 3 literal generations. How do you not know this?
Yeah, that was weird because, they find the natives that are living in the city or whatever. There's like, these are the masters of dragon butchering because it's been their tribe's specialty for like ages.
Literal
right?
generations, yes.
Yeah, like we hear about the great grandfathers, so 3 generations ago, but they did even longer before that. But then it's like, and there's still so much not known about the dragons. It's like, what? Pick a lane, guys. Holy shit, they're either unknown or you've done this your whole existence. Which one is it?
Or this whole like pseudo justifying all their murdering. It's like, oh no, we caused this, now we got to put it into it. So we got to put it out of its misery.
We heard it, so now we have to kill it.
Yeah, that's their justification. They're trying to make themselves be the good guy, but I can't root for these people in any way, shape, or form.
So I actually, one of my notes says this anime comes so close to being compassionate towards dragons, only for them to immediately toss that in the trash. Like they'll like look at a dragon that they've stabbed repeatedly for like 20 minutes, and they're like, "It's hurt."
Like, oh, you poor thing. Oh,
you poor
sympathy,
thing.
empathy.
Stab. Immediately cook, and then go, "Wow, this is so good." It's like, what the fuck?
The thing is I kind of get what they were going for, but either the author of the original manga or the people who adapted it for Netflix did such a terrible job of it. But what they were trying to go for was the concept of we need to harvest these creatures because society does depend on them. I mean, even in human history, whaling was important for a brief period of time because the oil was such a big deal, right? And so, like, if we have to hunt these things, then the least we can do is make sure it's fast and merciful, and they don't feel any pain, all that. And then again, this is kind of why they brought the natives into it at the halfway point with the altar and the prayer that she again mimics on her own towards the end of the show, with the whole, like, thank you for your sacrifice, now go return to the sky and blah, blah, blah. It's supposed to be very, I'm going to say Native American about it, but I don't know which culture it originated in. Where you respect the animal you killed and you make sure you do it with the least amount of suffering possible to just be respectful that way. So it's like, I see what they were going for, but the delivery was absolute garbage.
Yeah, no, that execution was downright awful. Like the very last episode was like, you must go with your other dragon so I can hunt and kill you. I'm a draker. This is how it must be. Go, live so I can hunt you later.
So
like, what the fuck?
The reason I hated that too was because she's all like she had such a problem with the fact that she killed its mother, and so now it's motherless and all that, right? And I was like, that's why I must return it to the herd. And I was like, and I'm like, girl, you have orphaned so many others that you have no idea about. You just care about this one because you happen to see it 5 feet in front of you, and it's just such oh my god, I don't even know the words. Like,
no, they're all. It's a ship of hypocrites.
Yeah,
it is a airship of hypocrites. Especially Mika. Let's shit on Mika right now, because let me talk about that goddamn pirate episode, because that's what really cemented my hate for this fucker.
I'm gonna shove you off the steering wheel for a little bit. I'm gonna do a bit of a Mika rant myself first, just to set the stage.
Okay.
All right. Set the stage. Mika is the worst character in any show I have ever seen because he is so one-dimensional. His entire character is, oh, I'm so unenthused about everything, but oh my god, food is amazing, and I want to go kill this dragon solely so I can eat it. And then for no reason whatsoever, I am also the greatest person on the ship and can do whatever I want. I can Leroy Jenkins into any situation versus dragon or versus man, and I will 100% come out on top.
No matter fucking
there
what.
Are no consequences for his actions at all. Even when like the drama stuff happens towards the end of the show, when Takeda or whatever her name is falls off, it's not his fault. It just happened. It sucks. It happened. But like he never gets a comeuppance ever. And so he continues to be just this unenthused, is the food done yet? I want to eat, the entire show, and it is the most annoying thing I have ever seen.
The only two times Mika isn't god moding his way through his own anime is when the Sound Dragon, which by the way used fucking didgeridoos to torment and harm people, when the Sound Dragon happened, and also when he fell off the other dragon in the port city. And to me, both of them felt like the writers going, okay, we've obviously established Mika can do anything he wants. How do we take him out of this scene so that the other characters can shine for a moment? And it's like, have Mika's fucker inner eardrum burst or something, and he's like stunned. And then the other one, it was, let's have Mika fall and hit his head real hard. And it's like, those are the only two times he ever really gets hurt because the plot needed him to not do his Rambo shit.
It's just like, I enjoy overpowered characters. Like, that's been a story trope that I've been getting really into. Things like Overlord, the freaking... Oh my god, I don't know what this series is called. But
One Punch Man?
No, I'm thinking about a book specifically. Like, Bird has the Child of the Daystar. I don't know what this series is called, but that's the first book. Raz Isuo, Aros, or whatever his name. Not Isuo, but whatever. Like, he's also an overpowered character, and then there have been a couple others in some lit RPGs I read. I can enjoy overpowered characters, alright? But just, they're at least likable. Like, when they're strong and they can do whatever they want, they're badass and they know it. They're like, I'm a boss, right? This guy is just so like, ugh.
This felt like something an edgy 16-year-old would write to make themselves seem extremely badass, but also very
it's a self-insert,
deep and dark. Yeah,
it's a self-insert. I almost want to look up who wrote
obviously
the manga.
Obviously the character's cool if he doesn't care about anything. It's like, ugh.
Obviously.
Ugh.
Yeah.
All right.
I want to point out one thing about the pirate episode in particular.
No, let him do his thing first. We keep stepping over him and we need to stop doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so this motherfucker decides, listen, there's 7 pirates. 6 with the 3 with Walter P-38s.
Oh my god, you know the names of the fucking guns?
I do.
What is
then
wrong
one
with
with the
you?
fucking like World War II era heavy machine gun mounted emplacement. So you know what this guy does? With his fists, decides to just zip line over to the pirate ship and take on all of them. And these fucking guys, while they're getting their shit beat out of them because they're too incompetent to pull a fucking trigger, are like, oh man, this guy's so good. Oh, I can see how he lost to him.
I have a gun and this guy doesn't. Let me close into melee range.
And this guy's like fucking Naruto. He literally Naruto runs to dodge the bullets.
I think if I zigzag, they can't shoot me.
Like, I was so angry. Then he fucking stops to take a bite to eat, and then the fucking mounted machine gun gets one shot off to destroy his like super steak that had 1,000 seasonings.
The most contrived and forced trope scene I've ever seen, where the character's holding something they value and then it gets shot out of their hands. It's like that. Oh,
and then the gun jams, and he's like, and then
he slowly walks up to the mounted
the thing is,
gun.
I don't think that particular gun could have jammed because it wasn't chain fed.
It was. I don't remember if it was or not. I couldn't tell, but it was firing pretty good the entire rest of the show. And then it jams because it's got to, for the sake of this overpowered, edgy character, to do its shit.
The gun was only allowed to fire at Mika if it was comedic. It was never allowed to, any of those bullets were never allowed to make contact with another human being. And that was my biggest problem with that episode, is you have a fucking pirate. Ray pointed out, fine. Like, Ray actually brought up a good point. I was mostly angry at the fact that these pirates were not shooting at the fucking airbag on the Kinshasa. Like...
Yeah, and then I said, well, the goal isn't to sink it. They're flying over the ocean, and they don't want to lose the enemy ship. They want to board it and steal all their stuff, so they don't want to sink it.
And it's like, okay, granted, 100%. But why did the Kinshasa fucking fire at the balloon of the pirate ship?
And that's dumb. I mean, they started firing at you, like where you were standing on the boat on the ship. Now has bullet holes. They were firing. They were
trying to kill you.
So 100% turn your freaking harpoons on their airbag to sink them.
To destroy
like,
their
why did nobody
ship.
think to do that?
I don't.
The only way I could ever rationalize that would be that their harpoons are on the deck that has no railing and no siding, and so if the pirates see them going for them, they're an open target for the machine gun.
That's literally what happened. They got pinned inside the cabin. They were firing in a doorway they couldn't escape from because that mounted machine gun had them lined in.
There were a bunch of times where the machine gunner was still active in his nest, and everyone was just gathered up on the deck looking at Mika, fighting them. It's just...
Well, because we need... the self-insert Mika must have an audience at all times.
Yeah, that's basically what it was. It's like the machine gunner only ever fired 3 times. Once at their rudder, once at Takeda and missing, and then one singular bullet to destroy the prime rib that Mika was eating. And
well, no, that was a retaliatory spray.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Oh, God,
admittedly, it was a very delicious-looking prime rib.
Yeah, and yeah, it was. The fact that they're pistols that fire explosive bolts or whatever, or rifles, when they fire them at dragons, the explosion is massive, about the size of like a room. But when they fired it at the person in the little cockpit, the explosion was like a little basketball-sized poof. And it's like, oh, come on. Now that you're firing at a person, it's not going to do anything.
There's no oils to ignite the explosion, obviously.
Yeah, may I devil's advocate a bit?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so Dylan's got a point. There might be some natural oil on the skin of the dragon that kind of ignites. That could happen after all these guns are made specifically for hunting dragons. Second, I think they can change the amount of charge in the bullets by like adding more power or whatever, because I think they do that later on where the guy's like, pack this one with explosives, and so it goes big ass boom, right? But having been caught off guard, rather than like there's a dragon in the distance, start preparing everything, they were firing with the minimum amount of powder because they didn't have time to prepare their cartridges. There's my devil's advocate.
It's a good devil's advocate. The other thing about character tropes that I hated, this is one of the reasons I hated Gerard too. So there's an episode where they land in a port town to refuel and everything, and another ship that is sponsored by the Union shows up with a huge dragon, something bigger than they admit they could ever catch themselves.
Can I ask you a quick question about the Union?
Yeah.
Do you think it was like unionized workers? Do you think it was more like a guild, or do you think it was like backed by the crown kind of?
I think it was.
I want to say it was a guild.
I want to say, well, no, because they meant that the accountant dude mentions like, yeah, it'd be really nice to be able to operate with impunity because everything's paid for. So I think they're backed by the crown.
The wording they used made it sound like it was backed by the crown, but it was never directly said. So I think it's draw your own conclusions.
Yeah. So, but they didn't kill their dragon. They poisoned it like heavily. And so,
which seems stupid if half the thing you want off of is meat.
Yeah, it's fucking dumb.
Well, they just literally wanted the oil.
Well, whatever. But there's this one part in that episode. So the dragon breaks free and it starts burning shit, and people are running and screaming. And then Gerard, trying to have his epic anime hero moment, goes, "Can't we help people into the Kinshasa?" And I'm like, no, you fucking can't. That town from flyover shots is 500 times bigger than your fucking balloon. You're not fitting shit into that goddamn thing. And I'm like,
but we have to try.
Your chance of surviving in a stone town is better than a goddamn balloon that is a single target. And it felt like a cheap way for the character to get a heroic moment. He's a dumbass and he should be slapped upside the fucking head.
Was that the message you sent to me on Telegram and deleted?
Yes. I was so angry I typed it out, and I typed it out to you, and then I was like, oh wait.
He hasn't seen it yet.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, but it made me so angry because they even did like the music sting, like, oh, and people gathering around like, oh man, I don't know. And I'm like, please don't tell me they try to funnel like a sliver of the population into the fucking Kinzaza. And it's like, dude, not everything revolves around your stupid goddamn ship.
No, but it's the concept of we have to try. I don't know.
Yeah, the accountant is probably the only sensible guy in this entire
really
anime.
is.
He has the
Okay, yeah, so like the amount of characters I liked, I can count on one hand. I liked Gerard after the halfway point with the town because he definitely, I feel like he grew as a character. He's one of the few people who did. I actually liked Takeda, which I swear, I hope that's the name. I want to feel like an asshole.
Yeah, it's Takeda.
So I liked Takeda because she was a real good, I don't know what the name for the character is, but when you have someone a newbie or someone from the outside who doesn't know what's going on, so the author has an excuse to explain everything to the audience.
Yeah.
She was actually pretty good for the role she had to fill. She was decent at, like, she wasn't annoying about it.
Yeah, that's
right?
true.
I liked the cook.
Oh, I liked Yoshi.
And I liked the accountant. And that was it as far as main characters.
I will disagree on Takeda because the only times I ever really liked Takeda was when she was chastising Mika.
Because someone's got to.
Because someone has to stand up to him, which is why he ended up liking her. But,
I mean, there was one point where he was going to be, they were like starving because they hadn't made enough money or something, and he was going to steal food from the larder. And it's like, dude, that's like punishable by death on a fucking ship.
But, yeah, he'll get away with it, though. But
he just slapped on the wrist. He's just like, you scoundrel, don't you do that?
Yeah.
He's a scoundrel.
Aside from Yoshi and the accountant, I don't know the accountant's name.
I don't know.
The co-pilot and the captain, I liked them, and I liked everybody down in the engine room. And
the engine room was pretty good.
The engine room girl, loved her. She had spunk. I liked her.
She felt like a character that did not want to be in this anime because everyone else around her is so stupid.
Yeah, I can relate.
Like she just wakes up and goes, "Oh no, I'm in this anime. Fuck, I got to do everything." Because the only two people in the engine room who were capable was her and the old man. Like at one point when a character like just gets stepped on so that the old man can reach up and twist a valve or something. But
you didn't like the kid with the hair in his eyes all the time?
The pseudo Brock lookalike?
No. Fuck, what was his name? I forget. I think it was Hiro.
I don't know.
It was Hiro, and I only remember that because Gundam. But
yeah,
no,
okay. That is Hiro.
The Brock lookalike. His name was Faye, Faye, and he literally had Brock's haircut, and he was basically take Brock, make him white, give him blonde hair, and that was it.
Yeah, okay. I just pulled up a picture of him. You're right.
Yeah, I liked him because he was like the perfect blend of stupid comedy, but also like, yeah, let's get this done. Like, I liked Faye. I think he was my favorite character.
Also, the accountant is probably the smartest one in the anime because out of everybody on that ship, he's the only one with a spyglass.
No,
I swear to God,
Vonnie had a spyglass every now and then.
I'm pretty sure. Like, I don't remember. Like, I was waiting for them to pull one out when what's her face fell off the edge and they were looking for, right? And Mika's just in the fucking crow's nest, I guess, on the top, using his goddamn eyes, no spike, nothing. And then the accountant pulls one out the first time in his entire search to look at a dragon they saw. I'm just like, why now out of a ship have this only time been pulled up?
Oh.
And then of course they need to have the weird questionable character that, like, I don't like this. It's like, if you're gonna put a black guy in your anime, make him black.
Okay, no, oh shit, that's racist.
It's not racist. That dude is Japanese people. All right, you know what? Hold on, rewind everything. Japan has on many occasions made black characters that are incredibly racist, and it's like the fact that no other character on the entire anime has outlined lips. It's like this guy right here is supposed to be black, but they made him white, and it's like, either make up your mind, either don't outline his lips, which is something animes do for black people, or give him black skin.
Okay.
First of all,
what a tangent.
Also, and to address Comrade asking why every character's got birthing hips, that's not their physical body, that's their pants. They're like,
it still looks so weird. The entire show, I was like, why are their hips so fucking wide?
It's because they're World War. They're like a World War style, like riding pants type thing. Because not every character has that, and when they're wearing street clothes, they don't. That doesn't show.
I mean,
It
come on.
really
When you're
is only
running
supposed to be
around
the
on the
blue
deck,
pants, yeah.
when you're running around the deck a lot, it builds up the thighs.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe you can take that. The thing is that yes, I have seen many examples of black people being mistreated in Japanese anime, either being ridiculously made fun of or, drawn as a racist character. I get that I mean, with that character alone, it's like just darken his skin.
Something's got to be wrong with me because I didn't see that character and think he's supposed to be the black tie-in. I didn't think.
I
that at
didn't
all.
notice it either. To be
Well,
honest,
it's literally because they outlined his lips. No other character on the entire anime has their lips outlined.
Oh, he got stung by a bee as a child and never healed.
I personally, I feel like that's a stretch. Like, I shouldn't assume thick lips automatically means he was supposed to be black. That's why I feel like that's insensitive. But like, I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
I'm kind of with Ray on this, calling it out. Well.
I mean, if that's what happened, if he was supposed to be black and they're like, no, we're draw him white instead because that's better, then yeah, absolutely disgusting. But I feel like if your only evidence to go off of is the fact that his lips are a bit thicker, I feel like that's a bit pushing it.
Yeah, because they didn't really act like
his name is Gaga.
What the fuck?
That's the dumbest name I've ever heard.
Yeah, his name is Gaga. I found a list of all the captain. He's the acting captain is Krako, the guy with the blonde hair, the one who's always smoking. Mm-hmm. Gibbs is the captain. And yeah, I guess according to this, the bite from that little parasite thing really kind of weakened him because it did have venom. So it weakened him to the point where he didn't feel comfortable taking over for the ship. So yeah, he the girl that we like that was in the engine room, her name is Mayne, Mayne.
What about the old guy that said like literally one line the entire show? That was in the engine room. Doug. What a name.
Oh boy. One thing I want to address, because a few people that I have complained to about the show have like wondered if I only don't like it because I'm such like a dragon fanboy, and like, so how dare they hunt and eat the dragons? I'm like, no, didn't actually bother me. Fair is fair. If dragons can fly around and hunt people, then if the people can get a dragon, they can eat it too. Whatever. I am a firm believer of the eat what you kill mentality. This bleeds over into D&D and has some very awkward situations. I had a game where I was playing as a dragon, and every time I would kill something, I would be like, I eat it. Do that as a lizard man too every now and then. Just, it seems wasteful otherwise. So whatever. Hunting, killing, eating the dragons, not a big deal. They were barely dragons, and even if they were definitely animal intelligence, so whatever, you do you. I just didn't like it mostly because Mika, who had like 80% of the screen time, was so unlikable. And just the delivery of a lot of the themes they tried to do, like the whole respect what you kill and it's stuffing fast, were just delivered so terribly.
And they fell on and those themes like fell on their head as soon as they brought it up with how they fucking try to handle every problem.
And a lot of other things felt very contrived, like when Takeda towards the end starts to feel remorse for killing the other dragon, and like does like while she was unconscious, the hunter lady like took parts of it and cooked it, so that you need to eat to get your strength. And she's like, she doesn't say these words, it's all body language and stuff. It's like, I don't want to eat this thing because it's this baby's mother. And it's like, oh bullshit. This is way too late to be having those kind of thoughts, and if you're gonna have these thoughts and go right back onto your drinking ship, you didn't learn jack shit.
Yeah, I actually...
Yeah, no, those whole 3 episodes were completely pointless. Nothing happened.
This emotional journey she goes on gets completely thrown out the window because at the end, I'm going to hunt you when you're older.
Yeah,
like,
I wrote that down, and it gave me the worst taste on my mouth after closing the anime and being like, well, it's done with that. She says, quote, next time we meet, I'll be hunting you. Until then, don't get eaten by anyone else, okay? And then she releases
them. Because that's what Drakers do.
Because that's what Drakers do. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? That is the most fucked up, stupid shit I have ever fucking heard uttered by a character in an anime. fuck you.
Like, it will, again, I don't know where the manga goes. I feel like it's going to keep following Mika and just his overpowered adventures of, I'm the self-insert, so I got to be able to do everything, and I'm going to eat every dragon in existence. But, like, I feel like a better way to take the story would be, like, after that, she starts to see, like, how horrible the practice of draking is, and, like, there's definitely some things we can do to make it better. I don't know. I don't know about the history of whaling to be able to, like, offer commentary on that, but, like, I feel like she should, like, borderline become an activist at that point. Like, yes, draking still has to happen because because humanity in general relies very heavily on these goods, but surely there are more humane and sustainable ways to do this.
I'm pretty sure. I'm surprised that there wasn't any, like, anti-drinking activists in the show as is. Which is why I always thought, like, that was a very big indicator, just how pro-whaling it was.
Yeah.
Because everybody was for hunting and killing these dragons for all the good shit that they offer. Not one person was against. Well, okay, what's her face? Zana, I think was her name. Like, she wanted to be on the ship just to be on the ship and fucking live amongst the sky, right? She didn't want to kill dragons. She slid down to help Mika on the, like, sonic didgeridoo killer, and she's like, "Oh, I gotta kill it to put it out its misery because Mika's an asshole and I already wounded it." Mika's like, "Listen, you gotta finish my job. Don't let it suffer." So she does, and she's like, "I like killing dragons now." And I'm like, "You were the only." I had such high hopes for her to turn into this activist on the ship to start, like, trying to turn the crew away from hunting.
Oh,
nope.
she would get tossed overboard instantly.
Everybody's got to love to hunt and kill dragons. There is not one person speaking against it.
Now, we don't know enough. I don't have enough information about the universe that the author has crafted, and I seriously doubt there's any thought or care put into it, honestly. But if it's a situation like these dragons are very powerful, very dangerous, and they breed like nobody's fucking business, to where arguably the Drakers could be considered population control, which I think is the idea behind Monster Hunter. Like, the hunters have to hunt these because otherwise shit gets out of whack. Then it's a little more forgivable then, but again, that was never established, and if so, it should have been established like episode 2.
2 dialogue counterpoints that were talked about. One, the dragon population is diminishing.
Oh, they actually mentioned that?
They actually mentioned that they're about to go extinct.
Fuck, that's gross. Why are we still drinking then?
Dragons never attack humans. They just fly around peacefully.
Alright, I'm angry now. It's fucking gross.
Yeah, that's why I was wondering why you were going to defend the show at all.
I must have missed that dialogue or something.
Yeah, no, dragons are about to go extinct, and they don't they don't attack or kill humans of anything. They just live in the sky.
They
and
literally
eat each other.
live in the sky and eat each other and fly around and do nothing.
Do you remember, like, vaguely what episode that dialogue happened? Because maybe it was when I was going on my little bit of Wikipedia reading at the same time.
I want to say it was either episode 2 or 3 they mentioned the dragon populations. The first episode's when they mentioned, like, they barely ever attack people at all.
Then I don't know how I missed that. But that's fucking gross.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous. So I think we covered pretty much everything. This episode's a little shorter, so I got a topic for you guys. What, in your opinion, would you say would justify dragon hunting itself? Like, let's say, like, if you were reading a book that's centered primarily around dragon hunting, what would make it appropriate?
Well, like I said, if the dragons, they breed too fast and they're going to throw everything out of whack, so it's half population control and half we need these goods for society to function.
So yours was the way Lazy Scales handled their book 4?
Explain how.
They had to try to stop dragons, had to stop everybody from turning into a dragon, otherwise it would destroy the ecosystem and billions of...
Okay, we had to turn the spell off because otherwise there'd be too many dragons. Yeah, kinda, sorta. That's a very weak similarity, but yes, I'll take it.
Oh, so that was the only one that popped up in my head, okay? We've been very pro-dragon. We haven't read any anti-dragon books.
You gotta be a bit more well-read. We gotta get you some more books in your noggin.
I mean, we could get some better shows in my noggin.
They gotta make like better shows.
They're out there. We gotta find
them. For the record, before I relaxed my rules on the dragons have to be the main character and have to have X amount of dialogue and whatever, before I changed that, cartoon, Drifting Dragons, would never have made it onto this podcast. I have relaxed my criteria, and now we got to do this anime. And
it's like, I feel like Ray needs to tighten the rules again.
I know, right? The rules are there for a reason.
This slipped through, and it was fucking garbage.
You know,
No,
this
listen,
is strike one. Strike one.
We're doing a service to our community by seeing this and letting them know, hey, this is shit.
Yes, I 100% agree. However, there are so much more good things out there we should cover before we start delving into the dredges.
But then we're going to become... We got to even it out. We got to balance some good with the bad. So here's some bad to let you guys know the bad's out there. So the only way you know if anything's good is to listen to us.
I guess it's...
And join us live on our audience for $5 a month.
You know what? You're right, because with our little rating system, like if everything is 4 out of 5 stars and yes, I would live here, then it starts to lose meaning. We got some bad stuff now. There was
get more bad stuff.
It's nice to know there's a floor on this thing.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, you win. Some bad is good.
There you go.
There you go, audience. You got your bad. Take it.
All right.
Well, Bantam, you still got to answer Dinton's question of what would need to happen for you to accept draking as a viable profession in a setting.
I mean, they have to attack towns regularly. There have to be plenty of them. And there have to be, like, no other natural resources around. Like, I feel like if the towns are only subsisting on dragon oil and dragon meat, and it's like, I mean, there's a woman in the mountains who subsists only on boars and deer. She's fine. I feel like this is the Industrial Revolution in the sense where dragon oil is like a key component in upgrading. You know, like you play any 4X game and it's like in order for you to reach the next tier, it requires dragon oil. But
there are some anno games that require the whale resource to get you people to the highest tier.
Yeah,
I think.
But it's like I feel like, you know, everybody's just like wanting to use these dragon parts for their own leisures, you know, like, oh, I get an oil lamp and it makes my food taste better, but they're not actually using it to the best of its ability. They're not, you know, whereas the hunters can serve every little piece of the dragon, the people that are buying the oils are just wasteful and stupid. And so therefore hunting the dragons is just, it's pointless. The dragons are being killed for essentially no reason.
We never actually got to see what the oil is used for. Like, it's not used for any machines, as far as I know. They never mentioned like needing the oil for their own engines. Like, why are they harvesting it?
Because the town.
I'm gonna assume the same things that whale oil was used for, which is mostly lamps, also sometimes soap, and a couple other things. I can't really
They
remember.
also mentioned they use it for cooking.
Candles, I think, tallow.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like, ugh, it just feels like.
How much soap do you need?
Well, I mean,
when you go from when you transition from showering once every other month to showering once every other day, a lot.
But yeah, I just think that, like, the way they trivialize hunting these dragons, like, it's not a big deal, even though they've established that they're going extinct.
Oh, one thing I wanted to tack onto my little, like, it's okay to eat the dragons if you can catch something. Another thing that I really, really like is the fact that eating the meat, the blood, or the organs of a dragon, when it's a true dragon, again, I don't count these things. These were sky whales, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Eating parts of a dragon is supposed to be like a real big deal. Like, it imparts you with some of the dragon's power because they're inherently magical. That's why in our one D&D game a year or so ago, when you guys got paid in dragon blood and you drank it, I gave you a stat increase because it's supposed to reflect how valuable this is, which should mean that it should also be much rarer. The ideal setting for me that would have draking you would have your powerful, intelligent dragons, which are like your normal D&D dragons, the red, blue, gold, whatever, that probably like own cities or kingdoms. Like, they're the ones that are pulling the strings because they're just that influential. Kind of like how in Shadowrun, how most of the corporations are backed by dragons because they just happen to be the most powerful creatures in the setting. And then on the other end of the spectrum, you have the very, very low tier dragons, which are completely animalistic. They're unintelligent. They probably aren't even called dragons because real dragons would not they don't want to be lumped into the same group. So they'd be called drakes or wyvern or whatever, some sort of lesser creature. And those you could have in industry hunting because they would basically take the place of the animal. They would be some more effort put into how humane and sustainable it is, but still, that would be there, and whatever, right?
Yeah, I can see that. It's just that this really showed it didn't really. It highlighted the fun of dragon hunting.
It definitely tried to romanticize it,
but it never really showed how practical it could be.
I guess, fingers crossed, maybe one of the future manga editions actually starts to tackle onto that. If the author wanted to actually follow the historical whaling industry, then at some point to be like, hey, we can't do this anymore. Let's set up whatever the commission was that actually put a stop to whaling and said it was put a moratorium on it. It's no longer, you can't do it anymore. It's not the IWS.
It didn't stop it entirely. It actually just posted a limit of how many you can hunt.
Right, but they still tried to control it, and I think.
Now, Conservation of Whale Association, according to Mr. Tresenix.
According to Mr. Tresenix. The International Whaling Commission, that's what it is. That's one of the things I read on my brief little Wikipedia dive. So maybe they'll set up the International Draking Commission, and it'll start to be phased out, and they'll basically the beginning of the series is romanticizing it, and then the middle starts to be like, wait, this is actually terrible, and here's why, and then the end is, here's how we can do it in moderation. And
I feel like if they tried to do that with how this crew is set up and with Mika in fucking particular able to do whatever the fuck he wants, they would lead that ship to a fucking nosedive right into the commission.
Maybe Mika becomes the villain. We have to fight him. That's what I would do. I'd make Mika the villain. You have to put him down at the end.
He can't make Mika the villain. He's too much of an insert. There's no way. I think it's a good time for some dragon news.
That's usually at the beginning, so nope, no dragon news this episode.
No, we've got some dragon news.
We have missed the dragon news. I was going to ask you guys what your favorite dragon was from the show, which design you liked the best.
Honestly, none of them, to be perfectly fair. I did not really see one that I particularly liked. Once I saw the sperm cell, I was like, all right,
it was pretty cute.
If they're all
it was not cute. It was a sperm cell.
They can all be terrible, but you still have a favorite.
My favorite was the sperm cell's mother, only because when she was going to go stab it, it had a tentacle and it wrapped around her neck, and I was like, ee.
Terrible.
Not really. All of them had weird teeth.
You know what they had? They had the same teeth that sea turtles have. They're essentially really hard bristles that point inward.
Throat-lined teeth?
Yeah.
Or teeth-lined throat? Yeah.
No, I'm talking about the weird, human bass shit that they had in the front. The really big one at the very last
there
episode.
Was one that had straight up human dentures.
Oh, the big manta ray looking one? That had the most human looking face I've ever seen on a creature and was unnerving as shit. I hated that thing. No, my favorite design was actually, I think, the one that attacked the town that shot the heat ray. Whatever that species was called. I enjoyed that. That looked pretty cool.
That was the most dragon-looking dragon out of all of them.
It was. The only other comparator for dragon-looking dragon were the red ones that came at the very end to feed on the jellyfish herd.
Yeah. The one I liked the most probably was the one I never saw alive. Is the one they brought in dead at the town that had the heat dragon. The purple and green-looking one.
That is the heat dragon.
Yeah.
No. I'm talking about the one the smaller whaling ship brought in.
Oh.
The one you never see alive. It's at the end of the last episode, and then the next episode they bring it in dead. It was this
it looked like it was supposed
thing
to be,
with 4 wings.
Yeah, it was definitely a long boy.
Yeah, then it just comes in dead. Okay, that was my favorite one.
So we can all agree that we just hate Mika, right?
Yep.
Yeah, no, fuck Mika.
I was gonna say if you were given this story and you got to change something to try to make it better. What would it be? And it's just
okay. Well, no. Here's the thing, and here's what I was expecting to happen when I first started watching the anime. With how good and God mode Mika was at everything, I was expecting him to die, and the reason why is because the crew now has to ragtag, assemble, and struggle, and realize that they had it good while he was there, and that they all have to learn new skills to compensate. And I honestly thought that Mika was going to die after 2 or 3 episodes, and I think he should have.
Yeah. The difference I would have made is I would have made it more political. I love my politics in media. I would have had some interactions with with kingdoms, guilds, commissions, whatever, you start to show the negative effects of whaling / draking, and you just deal with that. Like add more grit to it rather than just romanticizing the entire industry and just, oh, here's a dragon, we kill it, we eat it, here's a recipe, make it yourself, go.
I was trying to find, when I was watching this, I was trying to find online what the cultural significance of whaling was for Japan, because I'm wondering if it's still, like, looked highly upon, if that's, hold on, I'm trying to think here. Well, yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, if it was romanticized back in the day, as far as, like, Japanese culture, like, how integrated whaling is, because the way this show operates was just like, man, whaling's the best fucking thing ever. Now imagine if it was in the sky.
Yeah, basically. Basically, they had... Oh, I remember a point I want to talk about. I should have written down notes, but I just didn't. I hated this thing too much to write down notes. There were a lot of missed opportunities, right? Like, for like I just said, with the going into, like, the... I'm going to just keep using the word politics, but it's probably the wrong word. The politics of the profession or whatever. But also, like... Shit, someone else talk for it, but I need to gather my thoughts. I'm like... The
whaling bans.
Well, I was going to say the allegories, the parallels to Monster Hunter as a series. Yeah, it's like every single time they were like, yeah, I'm a Draker. And it's like, oh... Like, is that supposed to be impressive? But yeah, everyone was like, ooh, Drakers. It's like they were essentially, in the Monster Hunter universe, they were the hunters. They were like, oh, you should look up to me because I'm a hunter. I'm a Draker, look up to me. And it's like, oh, God.
Yeah, but they were also hunting something that never attacked humans. For some reason, people thought Drakers were bad omens, too. Every time they pulled into town, they're like, oh, no, the dragons are going to come and kill us all.
And when they stopped worrying about that, the dragon came and killed them all.
Well, the dragon, like, even the dragon that attacked the town, it, like, flies briefly and crashes into a building and just lays there. And then they fight it a bunch, and it gets up, chases after the little gyrocopter, then crash lands again. It's literally dying from the poison. And they're like, oh, God, it's going to destroy the town. It's like, dude, it's laying there.
Well, so they could have also, targeted... What... My vocabulary is shrinking by the day, and I hate it. They could have also dealt with a bit more of the ethics of it, like poison, bad, right? Definitely.
Oh, Mika dealt with that because it made the meat taste bad,
again,
remember?
Completely the wrong reasons. Oh my fucking God, Mika. Like, like, people are dying, and there's destruction, different scenes completely, but like, and Takeda is gone, and all this, like, just anytime something bad, or like anything that had any emotional weight to it, he's always like, what, can I eat it?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go kill this dragon, not to save the town, but because I want to eat it.
And the old man that he looks up to, the tribal leader from, years ago that taught him everything he knows about dragons, and he's describing how they're going to remove all the poison out of the meat by burying it in the sand for 3 years. And Mika fucking immediately attacks him. And he's like, what do you mean 3 years? Ah! And it's like,
I want to eat it now.
Also, when the old man's actually trying to give literal politics about this, about the nuance of human and dragon relations, Mika shuts him up both times. We never hear it.
Yeah.
There were a couple of times when, the old man was going to give some profound wisdom, right? He was going to talk into some cultural points or whatever. And Mika just interrupts him with, like, is it edible? Or whatever the fuck. I hate Mika. And I remember my point. So, like, there were a lot of missed opportunities. One was, of course, targeting the politics, dealing with guilds and kingdoms and all that. But another one was, like, turn it into a borderline nature show, right? Like, when you find a new dragon, like, give us a handful of better shots of it, and then talk about, like, its biome and its, like, habits and, like, special abilities it has, and, like, give us more information on the dragon itself. Like, put as much care into the creatures you've created than you did the dishes that can come out of them.
Oh no, see, they don't know a whole lot about dragon biology, so they can't really do it.
But they've been doing this for generations.
That still pisses me off. That's such a glaring plot hole.
It is.
Not one episode apart from each other.
Mm-hmm.
That they fucking stab their own universe in the heart.
Yeah, there are a lot of things they can do to make the show, like the concept, better. Like, it's a good concept. The show itself is terrible.
Oh, fuck Mika.
Just always delete Mika.
Like, I feel like that was his show and not the Dragons.
Yeah, it kind of was. And I think the worst part is that, like, I actually, like, really enjoy the concept. I don't know what it's called. Again, it probably has a word. But the idea that, like, the Native Americans with, like, respecting the spirit of the animal, you thank it for its sacrifice, use every piece of it, and all that. I love that shit. And Mika was the exact opposite.
No, he absolutely was. Like, he was literally in it just to taste everything he could eat.
Like,
everything he could find.
Half of the gear that the Drakas used should have been, like, based off of dragon leather and stuff.
That would just be Monster Hunter at that point.
Yeah.
So, what's your point? What's your problem?
No, it's...
That's a trademarked IP.
You just can't use the same names or whatever.
I'm pretty sure, like, I wouldn't have done that. Excuse me, I wouldn't have done that just for the same point. It's like, I don't want, it's just like Monster Hunter. Like, no, I'm trying to make something unique.
Unique doesn't always mean good.
No, it's amen to that.
Any final thoughts? I think I got all my thoughts out finally.
No, I'm good.
You also dying.
Yeah.
I can't really think of anything else I want to talk about either. I've covered Mika. Fuck Mika. That ending point went nowhere. This show went nowhere in 4 hours. Like, they just went straight and nothing happened.
This show came dangerously close to having the characters be humanized. By the way, they, like, the amount of times that Gerard would stand in front of a dragon and stare at it, like when he saw the glittering dragon, and he's like tearing up because it's such a beautiful sight, and then Mika's like, yeah, we gotta kill it, and they're like, yeah, let's do it, and when the dragon is suffering in the middle of town, that, you know, poisoned, and Gerard's staring at it like, oh, it's in pain, and they're like, quick, we gotta kill it, and it's like, all right, you know what,
Solution to everything.
Can you guys maybe just once, like, look inward and think, hey, maybe draking is not profitable. First of all, it's definitely not profitable. They are constantly in the red. They're constantly struggling to make ends meet. They have to kill more and more dragons just to keep their goddamn ship in the air. And it's like, all right, maybe draking is not profitable, and therefore you're just doing it for fun. You're doing it because you like murder and you're a bunch of pieces of shit. If one dragon were able to keep that ship in the air and the crew fed and sustained and you know, have money for months at a time, so they only needed to hunt a dragon like every couple months or so, then fine. But the fact that they were constantly struggling and they were like rushing into combat to go fight these dragons just to keep their bills paid, it's not a sustainable business, so stop. It's like, I don't understand why they, we're ragtag, we're trying to pirate crew, and we're trying to fucking, you know, maintain our livelihood, and it's like, your livelihood is a failing, unsustainable business. And the more you try to drag it out, the worse you people are. Like,
yeah, which is why I'm hoping that, like, in the manga, they start to address that and start to, like, shift away.
Yeah.
But no, probably not. Now with Mika as the main character.
Mika needs to die for any of that to happen.
He won't. He's on all the front covers. I look.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, god damn.
Yeah, he's on the cover of everything. I saw a huge compilation of...
There's 9 volumes of Drifting Dragons?
13.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's the other problem with manga is, like, it's like, you can never just, like, oh, I want to get into this manga. It might be kind of cool. And then you find out there's, like, 40 fucking books.
Theoretically, if we had access to the manga, like, for free or for real cheap, right? Like, maybe you pay, like, $15 a month to a website and you can read whatever the heck you want, right? Would you guys want to, like, read 13 volumes of manga and then review that?
Well, depends. I mean...
Depends on the manga. But just the concept of reading and then reviewing a manga, considering how long they can go on for. It's mostly pictures, so I guess you'd speed read it pretty fast, but that's like, I'm just curious.
Don't you have to read it backwards?
Yeah, you have to read it backwards.
Dilettante.
I mean, I have the only 4 manga that I even own. I have Dragon Ghost House Hunting, because I actually started collecting the manga before I found out that there was a show. I have Monster Musume, and then I have 2 other mangas I can't talk about.
I'll look into it. Maybe there's a way we could do manga at some point.
I just looked into the brief synopsis about the 7th issue, which deals with dragon slayers. And there's drakers that just kill the dragons even more brutally.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
How is that any different than what they do?
And Mika will have a problem with that because they're not eating them.
No, it's ruining the meat. See, that's a problem.
Yeah, you're letting the meat go to waste. How dare you? Don't you know how delicious it is?
Apparently, Tristanik says this is a slice of life drama, and this is kind of how it goes.
I could see that, considering how, again, the point was, here's a bunch of characters and here's how they interact with each other and with the scenarios. To me, an actual slice of life is a more mundane scenario, like a school or an office or something like that. This is not something that can exist in real life, and so I don't really see it being fully slice of life, but it definitely leans towards that with how the stories play out.
Yeah, but the setting and the characters do not do it justice.
No.
Not even remotely. All right, but before we end, I do have some Dragon news I want to talk about for the first time. There is an animator called Toniko Pantoja on Twitter who is making I guess a short movie or an animation that does with a little kid turning into a dragon, and it has to deal with the hard reality. That is going to be coming out in actually, it might come out as this episode gets released.
Maybe I thought the thing you showed me, I thought it said the trailer was coming out in like a week, or like the announcement of it or something. Like this was like a teaser for a teaser. That's what it felt like.
Oh, I thought it was the whole thing. So, well, I guess we'll find out. But yeah, a week as of this recording, so probably like the 1st of November, we'll see something. But I'm actually really interested because it was like 26 seconds and it got me hooked.
A girl turns into a dragon, and both she and her boyfriend, I guess, are very upset. And it's like, how dare you turn her back into a human? She doesn't want to be a monster. And it's like, dude, know your audience. Yeah, at the end, I just went back to the video. At the end, it says reveal coming soon.
Oh, so it is going to be a trailer then?
Yeah, they're just going to reveal more information on it, I guess.
Okay. Well, then we'll have an update story.
Here's hoping, quotation, short animation isn't like a 15-minute or like a 5-minute short, like what goes to the beginning of like a Disney or Pixar movie.
Well, this is an independent studio.
I don't care. I still demand a 90-minute feature-length film.
Well, maybe they'll use it to pitch it to somebody to get that 90-minute funding.
Yeah.
Well, we'll help shill them. Again, that's Toniko Pantoja. TONIKO
You missed a T in there.
There's a T between the N and the O. There you go.
Terrible.
Listen, I try. Okay. We've already established. I'm pretty sure I'm dyslexic.
All right, ready to close up?
Yep. Bantam, I think I gotta refill his oxygen tanks in his bubble. That'd be fine.
That was totally not on purpose.
All right, Bantam, where can they find us?
On the internet.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. Bantam, where can they find us?
On the internet. All right, so yeah, I gotta write these down.
He has no idea. All right, thank you for joining us as we talk about Drifting Dragons, the terrible, terrible Netflix show.
We can.
Next episode, we're going to be doing the Battle Dragons book.
Yeah.
Basil Brooktail. Shit, I should actually have like the fucking.
And it's got no audio book.
the book that Bantam has wanted for the longest time.
It's actually one of the main reasons. Like as soon as this podcast was pitched, I was like, "Sweet, I could read Battle Dragons."
Okay, that's not the right Battle Dragons. Apparently, there's something else called Battle Dragons, and this one's set in a cyberpunk universe.
What?
Well, all right, we're going to reread that one now.
In a modern megacity built around dragons, one boy gets caught up in a world of underground dragon battles and high-stakes gang war that could tear his family apart.
What?
We're gonna put that on the to-be-read list. But for now, we're going to do the one by
Basil Brooktail.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Accidentally discovered a new dragon book. Okay.
So you can find us on Twitter at officialwadpod. You can email the show if you have any questions or you just want to, send an email to the show, which we encourage you to. Yeah,
Ray
Ray
loves
love those. Our email is wadpodcastmail@gmail.com. We have a Patreon at World of Dragons Podcast, and we have a Discord where you can join for free and say hi. And that will be linked in the show notes.
Mm-hmm. All right. Now that I had information, the book is called Basil Broketail. I thought that was the series name, not the book.
I thought that was the author.
No, the author. I would love the last name Broketail. Okay.
Christopher.
The
Rowley.
author's name is Christopher Rowley.
Hey, that's my name.
Listen, maybe the author got really invested and had their name legally changed to Basil Broketail. You never know.
Dude, I've been throwing around pen names because I don't use my real name if I end up writing a book. And it's like, yeah, it's gonna have dragon in there somewhere. Anyway, so yeah, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.